Do you guys know what's funnier than 24? 25. Real quick, cool people, before we get into the video, tell me down in the comment section below, what is your favorite episode of SpongeBob if you watch SpongeBob? Mine has definitely got to be either the episode where it was Patrick with his secret box. That one was beyond priceless. Or it has to be the episode where Squidward is trying to teach everybody how to play at some major football game, and then they send him up, and all of a sudden it's this really amazing, like, rock ballad song. Those have definitely got to be my top 2 favorite episodes. Dzień dobry, YouTube, Tommy, to another episode of Atticus Eats. My dear friends, oh my goodness, what an auspicious day. This is so exciting to be able to be here with you all today for a very, very special treat. We are actually returning for the first time here on the channel to one of the fast food eateries, that we have visited many moons ago, and actually to date, it is still my most successful Atticus Eats video here on the channel, and that is Wendy's. I am so thrilled to be back because I am able to celebrate with all of you a cartoon that is almost as old as me. I don't know how I feel about making that statement. Anyways, cool people, I have for you all today the one, the only Krabby Patty meal from Wendy's, complete with our pineapple frosty, which looks more like an overly milked caramel macchiato, frappuccino, something Pepito Latte coffee beverage that like a 13-year-old would drink these days. But I can assure you, it's not iced coffee. I still have my man card. Anyways, cool people, we are here, and we're gonna dive right on in. I am so excited. We got our plastic covered spoon. It's safe. And I'm so excited to dive right on in here. England. Look at these. Oh yes. Oh yes. Especially after the shrill disappointment of Five Guys fries last week. Wendy's fries are better. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. I am particularly hungry today. I've just been out and about today running some errands, but I knew I was going to come here for Atticus Eats, and I'm so happy that I did. This is so exciting. So, you all know that I always have some semblance of a story wherever we go. And that actually means the world to me, and I love being able to share all of my stories from my past with you all. I am so thrilled at your positive response that you all had, not only to the stories that I had to share at Five Guys last week, but also the fact that you even want to go so far as to really hear any story that I have. And you guys proved that by how many of you were so interested in the drivers that I've been able to have in my life and throughout my career. And that really excites me. So we're definitely going to keep the driver stories coming. But the topic today is SpongeBob SquarePants. And man, SpongeBob is literally like The Simpsons of the kids' cartoon world. It's just a show that never seems to stop. And if they stop doing the TV show, they keep coming out with movies, and that's incredible. One of my fondest memories of SpongeBob is actually, I did enjoy watching SpongeBob when I was little. And I remember when the original OG SpongeBob SquarePants movie came out that had, you know, the Goofy Goober in it and things like that. And oh my goodness, my sweet and precious mom, that was one of the first times I expressed an interest in going to the movie theater for something. And she had taken me to the movies before, but that was one of my very first early on, I want to go see a movies. And my sweet mom, she made a day of it, and we just had a mama and son, you know, date day with me being super little, and we went to go see the movie. And of course, now, I love this. I love this as a concept from Wendy's, and more fast food eateries should do this, is taking an overtly popular, like, TV show or book or novel or whatever food, and be able to put it into you know, real life. And that is so insanely awesome. I love the collaboration idea. I think it's brilliant. So my dear friends, live and through the interwebs, we are going to have ourselves a real bona fide Krabby Patty. Many of you talk about why don't you ever get cheese on your burgers? Well, here you all go. I do have cheese on this burger. You do, however, all know how I feel about onions and tomatoes. And so this is not a fully and complete Krabby Patty. It is sans the raw onions and tomato, because those two things would quite frankly ruin the whole thing for me. And so I want to be able to actually enjoy what I eat. But on that note, my amazingly cool friends, pause, grab yourself some food, maybe grab yourself a Krabby Patty, come back, and let's enjoy this together. Nizdarovia, people. Let's do this. Wow. That is so fascinating. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the show, isn't it supposed to be a sesame seed bun? Here, let me... All of you people who were previously complaining, go ahead and scoot over. Save me a seat. No. But in actuality, you guys, right out of the gate, first bite, awesome. Very soft, fluffy bun, perfectly cooked through patty, and I'm so thankful that Wendy's is keeping their square patties. If they didn't have square patties, it wouldn't be Wendy's anymore. The cheese is a really nice, you know, American cheese flavor. The lettuce is but that's to be expected. I always love pickles on a burger, as you all know. And then that Krabby Patty sauce is interesting. So I know that there's many people who said it just tastes like a knockoff of the McDonald's sauce. I'm not getting that. But let me take another bite. Let me see. Yeah. I can see how people would think it's similar. I do. But I'm definitely tasting a unique, different flavor. It's obviously a mayonnaise-based sauce of some kind. But what's in it? I personally cannot tell. The McDonald's sauce has always had that really good, sweet, pickly taste. And I'm not getting that here at all. This is definitely its own unique thing. But really, really good. I like the sauce that's on here. Plus, I mean, how many of us who hail from the original OG SpongeBob generation, back when it first came out, and, you know, all the many seasons after, how cool is it that if someone asks us now, hey, what'd you have for lunch today? We can say, with sincerity, a Krabby Patty. That's awesome. You know what I'm getting notes of in this sauce? It's almost like if any of you have had a Caesar salad with real legit Caesar dressing that's like the Italian recipe that has the anchovies in it, and you just get that little gentle whisper of anchovies, I'm getting a hint of that, a hint of something slightly fishy in the sauce. Maybe that's subliminal because I'm thinking of SpongeBob, but yeah, I feel like I'm getting a note of something like that, like a Caesar dressing. It's just there very lightly. Oh yeah. These fries are so much better. They're not the best fries in the world, but they're just so much better. You know what? I think I still have the French fry that I dropped in my original Wendy's video underneath my seat. It's probably petrified. Home stretch, people. Here we go. Oh. Holy cow. Our very first real bona fide Krabby Patty here on the channel. Wow. It's really funny, you guys. I actually have not had Wendy's in a hot minute. I don't think I've had Wendy's since maybe June, sometime of this year. And again, even then it was only once, and I think it was for a spicy chicken sandwich. And that was not on the channel. And it's so nice when you get to take a break from fast food. The thing about food, really, whenever you go out, unless it's your absolute honest to goodness, like permanent across the board favorite, fast food and really all types of eating out food, it's meant to be a treat, right? Maybe something you do once a week. I know that many of you who are fans of Five Guys burgers, but because of the cost, realize that, excuse me, you have to do it like maybe once a month. Doesn't it taste so much better when it's actually a treat? That's how I'm feeling about Wendy's right now. This burger is definitely a unique take. I don't feel like it's just a junior bacon cheeseburger, you know, with different sauce or something. Obviously, there's no bacon on it. Obviously, the biggest thing to compare it to would be something like a Dave's Single. But with a Dave's Single, you're getting ketchup and mayonnaise, which are completely different flavor profiles than this sauce, the Krabby Patty collab sauce, or whatever it is that they're calling it. So, it's definitely unique. It actually tastes really, really good. And I'm curious if because this is the promotional item, like all of the workers everywhere are paying extra attention to when they make the Krabby Patty meals as opposed to anything else that they make there. Because like with everything, sometimes you go there and it's a home run, knock out of the park, and then sometimes it's a complete strikeout, right? And I'm shocked I just used a sporting term correctly. But yeah, as far as the Krabby Patty is concerned, that is a very solid burger. And really, out of all of the fast food joint eateries that are burger-centered, I don't consider places like The Habit or The Stand to be fast food places. I consider them more to be perhaps medium speed places that you get a little bit more out of it, a little bit more quality ingredients, a little bit better of an aesthetic, and you have to wait for it to cook. And so for me, if it's a fast food eatery and it's burger centered, to me, Wendy's is the best. Better than Burger King, better than McDonald's, better than a lot of places. But just like I mentioned in Five Guys, sometimes you just have a craving for a particular thing. And that's true even for my mom and I. And don't you worry, by the way, all of you McDonald's fans, we are going to be hitting up a McDonald's at some point during this series. But focusing here on Wendy's today, that Krabby Patty is incredibly, incredibly solid. We are technically trying something new together, so I want to give it a rating so you all know where it's at. And in all honesty, that burger is probably a solid 8 out of 10. I would definitely buy a Krabby Patty. Actually, you know what? As I'm sitting here thinking about it, I don't know that I would necessarily get a Krabby Patty again. And it's because of the sauce, because it has a strange, slightly gamey, slightly fishy taste to it. It is good, but I don't know that I would get it again. And so for that reason, actually, let me rate this burger a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna rate it a 7 out of 10, because in all honesty, if I wanted the taste of a hamburger in my mouth but quick, and I was nearby a Wendy's, I'd probably get a Dave's Single or a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, especially because of the cost versus the amount of food that you get. Because with this meal, you don't even get a drink. I know that they're trying to make it like this is the beverage, and that's cool. Yay, we get a dessert, check. It has the same amount of sugar, probably, as most drinks these days. But, yeah, so we're going to get to that. But my dear friends, I want to share this with you because this is something that I know that many, many, many people who maybe eat food online or do food reviews like on you know, some website or a blog or whatever, they do not have the opportunity to say this. But my friends, I know that I have spoken about this multiple times, that I have had the pleasure of being able to meet a wide range of incredibly talented, very cool people throughout my career. And I am so grateful to say that I have not only been able to meet, but I have been fortunate enough to work with the one and only Tom Kenny, who plays SpongeBob SquarePants. And actually, he also plays Patchy the Pirate on SpongeBob as well. And oh my goodness, he is hands down one of my top 3 favorite people that I've been able to meet and work with in a voiceover-centered setting. He is so incredibly awesome. He is actually someone that I was able to meet. I think for the very first time, I was able to meet him recording for Frankenweenie. So he did some extra voices for the movie Frankenweenie, Tim Burton's Frankenweenie. And for those of you who don't know, I played Edgar E. Gore in that feature film, in that stop motion animation. And that was one of the greatest, most adventuresome experiences in my career, as far as the beginning, middle, and end of working on a Tim Burton project like that. It was insanely fun. But one of the chief reasons that made it so fun is because I actually personally got to work with Tom Kenny. For Edgar E. Gore, in that movie, I was doing a Peter Lorre impression, but I was younger. And even the audition process for Frankenweenie was so interesting because I got to do so much research to try to perfect the characteristics of this character. And so my mom and I, we got to watch a lot of Peter Lorre films together, specifically The Maltese Falcon and Casablanca. I can't remember if we ended up watching Frankenstein as well, but we definitely watched The Maltese Falcon and Casablanca. And The Maltese Falcon, oh no, it was Arsenic and something, where the whole movie takes place in the course of one room in a home. That movie was fantastic. If any of you need a good older movie, look it up. It's a Peter Lorre film, and I think Cary Grant is in it as well. He's the lead. And it's Arsenic and something, and I think they're trying to solve a murder that happened in a room, and nobody's allowed to leave the room until they figure out who it was. And so it was a very, very, very fascinating piece. Very beautiful piece. Anyway, long and the short of it is they actually brought Tom Kenny in, and I got to work with him because he would do a Peter Lorre impression opposite me, and then I would do an impression of his impression for recording the character for the movie. And that kind of helped me to stay in this world of Peter Lorre's sound, his vocal cues, etc. And Tom was so absurdly, ridiculously, fantastically nice to me and my mom, because my mom would drive me to those recording sessions. And oh my goodness, he was just so incredibly kind. And what was funny is after I worked with Tom on Frankenweenie, it was almost as if we actually sort of ended up seeing each other everywhere, which I thought was so much fun. He actually volunteered to be a part of an animal sanctuary that was doing a fundraiser, and he and his wife had been helping out with them for many, many years, and that was down here in Southern California, but it's a ways away from my current location. And so I would actually go there to say hi to him and hang out with him, and obviously support the cause of helping these more exotic animals at the sanctuary. But also I ended up volunteering there for a brief period of time as well, and that was a particularly fun experience. Then we worked with each other on a bunch of other things. We worked with each other on an episode of It's a Cartoon Network show, Clarence. We worked on an episode of Clarence together, which was insanely fun. And then we ended up, again, just seeing each other at various places, auditions and things like this, and this is all pre-COVID. So Tom Kenny, an absolute honest-to-goodness legend, and it is so wonderful to be able to virtually celebrate with him and the immense success of his show SpongeBob SquarePants. 25 years old. That's just insane. It's a year younger than I. Takes me back. It takes me back to simpler times. But on that note, we'll have a couple more fries here, and then we're gonna bust into that Frosty. All right. The time has come. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Oh, ooh. Immediately, you just get slapped in the face with pineapple. That is a very potent scent. Okay. I see you. Interesting flavor. I don't know what to make of this. Hold on. That is very sweet. Pineapple is like the sweetest fruit possible, I think. Or it has a lot, I know it has a lot of naturally occurring sugar in it, but man, that is kind of a whippersnapper. That is definitely a sweet, pungent taste. But at the same token, I'm sitting here and I'm realizing if it was any less, would we like it? I don't think so. Because then that would just be a vanilla Frosty at that point. You know what I mean? Alright. First glop. That's a very rigid spoon. This doesn't have any contour to it whatsoever. Seems just slightly awkward. I feel like this is a new spoon. Alright, here we go, people. Nazdarovia. Big old glob of ice cream. Yeah, that's potent. Very massive ice cream flavor. At the same token, you know, Wendy's Frosties, for those of you who don't know, are a cut above the rest. The Wendy's Chocolate Frosty is probably the only dessert item next to the Carl's Jr. cake that has remained its completely same flavor profile, texture, and existence. It has never been changed. Sizing has changed, but the flavor and the consistency has never changed. And man, the creaminess of a Wendy's Frosty is just sublime. I'm a chocolate Frosty guy. For all of you awesome people, what are you? What is your favorite Frosty to get from Wendy's? And have you tried the Krabby Patty meal yet? And if so, what do you think of it? Yeah. It's strange. When it first hits you, it's almost a medicinal flavor for the pineapple. And then it's like that goes away pretty quick and you're just left with vanilla ice cream. And that is pretty good. That's really good. Yeah. I would definitely not get this again. It's just a little bit too much for me. I like some fruity items. And then there's others that's just like, maybe just a touch much. Some bites I'm like, ooh. And then some bites I'm like, Well, as I contemplate my ifs, let's go ahead and address some more of your amazing questions, my dear friends. And jump on into the comment section. Alright. What have we got here? What can we answer today? Here are some amazing questions. I'm really happy that I get to answer these today. So, we have a commenter by the name of Woo Boo Huh? Or Woo Boo Who. You know who you are. I know this gentleman. He's from Germany. And he wrote this on YouTube. And he says, he asks, would you act in a role in the Walking Dead universe? If yes, which series? Or, what about The Last of Us? So I'll answer both. As far as a role in the Walking Dead universe, it's funny, that was probably the #1 thing that I kept telling my agent for a period of time while the middle was going on. And that was, hey, please get me on The Walking Dead. They never did. But that was back in the earlier seasons. My fanship, we're coining that as a word, for The Walking Dead was really from seasons 1 through 4. Seasons 1 through 4 had me on the edge of my seat. I was intrigued. I was engaged. It was really good. I enjoyed it. And it was just a really fun time. An interesting show to watch. And actually, even my mom would watch it with me. But then, it, like, never ended. And it got really disgustingly evil in season 5 with Terminus and the termites. And so it was from that point on that we would watch on occasion, and we would kind of follow along enough to know, okay, yeah, this is the sequence of events this year. And then now just The Walking Dead has never ended, and it won't. Like, yay, the original series done. Psych, we have 15 other spin-off series. You know. But if I were to just all of a sudden be in it, and they were like, hey, we like you, we want to hire you, pick your show, 100% across the board, I would want to be on the Rick Grimes spinoff, because my favorite character changed throughout the years, and then obviously, you know, characters die, so then you're like, oh, I guess that's not my favorite character anymore. Rick Grimes is 100% my favorite character, purely because Andrew Lincoln is so genuinely, like, nice in real life. So out of anyone on the cast, I feel like I would vibe with him the best, and that would be a really fun time. As far as The Last of Us, yes, I would love to be a character in The Last of Us. And actually, there is a guy, so, video game spoilers, just so you all know, it may carry over into the show. But in my head, I always thought that it would be really fun to play the WLF soldier. He's one of the 8 that go and hunt down Joel. And then later on in the game, you get captured by one. Your character that you play as gets captured by one, and he tries to interrogate you, but then you get rescued. And he ends up dying. I thought that would be a particularly fun character. To be a bad guy, but in the grand scheme of things, is he really a bad guy, right? And, you know, he gets to interrogate one of the main characters. You know, you get your 15 minutes of fame. I was on The Last of Us! And then, you know, you die. And then okay, cool. Have fun with the rest of the season. Bye. You know? I think that would be an incredibly fun time. That would be seriously awesome. I would enjoy that as an actor. Plus, going up to wherever it is, Calgary or whatever it is, wherever they film, that would be particularly cool too. Awesome question, Woo-Boo-Hoo. Thank you very much. Okay, great question here. Julie Ellen 260 on YouTube asks, do you enjoy cooking, especially since you have shared how good of a cook your mom is? Fantastic, awesome question, Julie. Thank you so much for it. Yes, so my mom, she is an exceptional, amazing cook. She is a home cook. She's not sitting there trying to pretend that she went to culinary school and, like, look at me with all my knife moves and all this other garbage. And, oh, we need to balance these flavor chemicals together. No, she's not like that. My mom is real, salt of the earth, down home, awesome cook, just like I'm sure many of you all are. And from what I hear, we have many amazing cooks in this community. So you all can relate. But my mom, old school cool, awesome recipes, whether she's using a crock pot or a Wusthof knife or, you know, a Curtis stoneware pan or a Dutch oven, it doesn't matter. My mom will make up something beast mode. It is consistently fantastic every time. And I'm just so grateful that I got to grow up with a mom who does love to cook, cooks well, and also would want to try new things, as well as share with me old school things that her mom taught her, and that was carried down even from my mom's grandma. So it's fantastic to be able to learn that stuff. However, I view the kitchen as my mom's domain, and I view that genuinely respectfully. I don't want to go in there because I know I am subpar compared to my mom. I don't want to go in there and ruin stuff. However, my mom is always very kind, very encouraging, and I do have some things that I personally will cook, and I really enjoy being my mom's sous chef. Hey mom, while you're doing this, what can I be doing? How can I help you out? And if it like allows, prime example would be like a Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. And so I do. I have the things, and we've broken it down, where here are the things that Atticus can cook, and he cooks really well. And then here's the rest of it, which is what Mama Bear cooks, and she cooks really well. And my stuff is outlandishly simple compared to my mom's things, right? But regardless, it's definitely a blessing. It is something that I truly enjoy doing. It's so much fun, and yeah, it's definitely something I would do more of if I showed more of an interest in it. But right now, I just want to keep eating my mom's awesome food, because why not? It's amazing. I think this is going to be my last bite of Frosty, friends. Oh, yeah. I think the problem here is that Wendy's Frosties are, like I said, a cut above the rest. The problem, though, is they put a syrup in it to try to give it the pineapple flavor. And it's like really good tasting medicine. But it's not, but it still tastes like medicine. So you kind of gag as you go, It's kind of an kind of thing. Yeah. I am not going to be getting the Krabby Patty meal again. This kind of confirmed it. That's the nail in the coffin, you know. It's just too much of a weird, really fake, medicinally sweet taste. And that says a lot, because I enjoy Dr. Pepper, which to most people tastes like medicine. This is even worse than that. So, Wendy's, I do thank you. I do salute you. It was still amazing. I'm happy that I got to try this today with all of my friends here on the interwebs. But yeah, Wendy's, I think I'm gonna pass. I'll go back to your chocolate frosty. On that note, my dear friends, let's go ahead and we are going to... Wow, I got really red there just from blowing my nose. On that note, my dear friends, let's go ahead and answer one more question and see what we can speak on. Oh, this is another great question, and actually it was a follow-up question from Julie Ellen. So Julie Ellen, thank you for both of your questions today. That's incredibly cool, and these all kind of feed off of each other, which I think is really neat. So Julie Ellen was talking a lot about how I bring up about the fact that my mom was on the set with me, and really that was for my entire career. And she was saying, can you speak more about your mom being on set for The Middle? Was that for legal reasons, maternal reasons, or both? And this, I love this question, and she asked it in response to the Five Guys video, because I had mentioned about you need to have someone who will advocate for you in this industry. It doesn't really matter what age you are. You just need that no matter what. And that was my mom for me. So, you know, we all know that there are horror stories in this industry that, you know, people getting taken advantage of as a whole. It's exceptionally worse for minors. You know, you hear the stories about the stage parents who make the minors just be workhorses, and then they take all their money. You know, you hear about the messed upness that can occur to young people especially, but to really many different people in this industry. I can confirm from firsthand experience that is all true. My mom and I have witnessed our own horror stories in the industry. Not nearly as worse as a lot of the things that are coming out in the news now. That's not what I mean. But, you know, things about, like, children being taken advantage of by their parents, for example, where all of a sudden, you know, this kid gets a role and suddenly the whole family is going on a really expensive vacation that they never even tried to do before. Things like that. And that's real. And unfortunately, that happens much more frequently than it should. I have not really been heavily involved in the entertainment industry really since COVID. I do still do a little bit of work here and there. I've mentioned before here on my channel my goals and ambitions, but quite frankly, that's up to him as to what I'm going to do. That's not necessarily fully and completely up to me. And so I need to see what's going to happen with that. But to follow along with that, you know, my mom was on set with me both for legal and maternal reasons. You know, it starts where when you have a child that's a minor, they have to have a guardian with them at all times. That's just the way it is. And that's part of the child labor laws that go into the industry. And a lot of them have actually been poised to try to correct a lot of the advantage taking that happens to minor actors in this industry, whether it be background actors or, you know, front of the call sheet actors, we can call them. But my mom never raised me to be in this industry. I happened to fall into this industry, and it just so happened that there was something there, and so we stuck with it. And obviously we're both very grateful that we did. But my mom didn't birth me and then be like, we need to make him an actor. She raised me to be just such a real, down-to-earth person, and she kept me that way through the entirety of being in the industry heavily. My mom does not like a lot of ridiculously absurd, expensive things. Even for me, I was not getting a whole bunch of random stuff every week because I could. Number one, I couldn't. And number two is it was a situation where my mom taught me immense responsibility with the notoriety that I was gaining. And even being on set, there are a lot of people that work in this industry, and you have to be careful of them around your child. Not even for any predatory reason, it's just what influence do they have on your child. And I could embellish on this even more, but suffice it to say, my mom was there, number one, for legal reasons, but as was evident even after I turned 18, I still wanted my mom on the set with me. My mom has been nothing but an amazing assistant for me. She helped me out in ways beyond measure, being able to work on the show, whether it be driving me places, being able to get food for me so I wouldn't have to waste my precious 20 minutes of reprieve from shooting a scene. You know, needing to think about, I need to get to food and make food and then I have time to eat food. No, she would help me out in that way. My mom would help me with paperwork stuff. My mom helped me in every way possible, and even being like my secretary. So, you know, it was beyond just she had to be there. I wanted her to be there, and she wanted to be there for me to aid me and support me in what I was doing with my work and with my career. And so that I am so grateful, because my mom had to be a bulldog at different times with different people, whether that be with producers or with possible representation or publicity things, whatever it may be. My mom absolutely had my back, and that's one of the many myriad of reasons of why you hear me talk about my mom all the time, is because I genuinely appreciate her, and we literally spent so much time together throughout my growing up, and obviously now as well. And I want to give her the respect and the kudos that she rightfully deserves. No other member of my family has played a part at all in shaping me to be who I am, or to bring me to the level of success that I had. It was all solely, exclusively my mom. Obviously, it was a higher power than even that, but she was used by that higher power to keep me safe. And I am so grateful for my mom. I'm so grateful to God for my mom and for the strength that he gave her when she needed it to be my advocate and to be my protector. And my dear friends, that is something that is not being talked about enough in the world today, and especially in the United States of America. This is coming to me now. I'm totally flying off the cuff here, but maybe it'll resonate with some people. There is such ridiculous, absurd, stupid ageism that is going on in this country today. I have a whole multitude of friends ranging from a wide range of age groups, my generation and older, going on up to and beyond my mom's generation, where they are noticing an epidemic of ageism, where if somebody's over a certain age, everybody just starts treating them like they have dementia or Alzheimer's or something. Has this happened to you? Write down in the comments section, is this something that has transpired? Because personally for me,
I'm sick of it. I'm a young person, and I'm sick of it. Because I'm tired of having to go to bat for my mom in the most absurd settings where it's like, she can speak for herself. Why are you talking to me? Talk with her. And how about you listen to her? And different things like that. Completely sound mind people being beat up by younger people just because. It's dumb. That needs to end. Join with me now. Stand with me on this soapbox. It's titled Zote Soap. And we need to put an end to this. You know what I mean? It is annoying that is going on. I don't even know why I got on that tangent. Oh, no, but the fact that my mom was my protector, and I want to give her the credit that's due. You know, we can learn a lot. Especially from the people who know what life was like pre-social media and stuff like that. But anyway, on that note, my dear friends, thank you all so very much for the questions that you posed to me that I was able to answer today. I still have many, many more questions that I'll be able to answer, and obviously more stories to tell in subsequent videos. My dear friends, as always, scroll on down to the description box below. Check out those links there. Link to my Twitch page, link to my Cameo page. Go ahead and follow both of those links. It'll help me out a ton if you do. And my dear friends, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Ding the little bell icon and hit all so that we are notified every time I upload an awesome new video or post a community post here on my channel. And go ahead and share this video on all your social media, my dear friends. We can use social media for bad. It can be used for a lot of bad things, but we can also use it for good. And helping me out and getting this video out to more like-minded people helps all of us because it makes this amazing community grow. All of you amazing people, keep being you. I'm so thrilled we got to have it. Officially a bona fide, real deal Krabby Patty. I hope you're having an amazing day, weekend, and week. I can't wait to see you all in the next one. God bless, and do vidzenia.
I just want a great life, something where I feel like I just didn't waste time, something I look back and say that was a great time, cause man I just hate when the years pass by the